Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Dogecoin, what has happened to it recently, and where we predict the price to go to in the near future, with some key price levels and some trades I'm looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel and you're one of the 86% of people that watch my videos that are not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you like this content. So without further ado, let's talk about Dogecoin. Let's get the annotations back on the screen and let's just talk about what has happened to it recently. So Dogecoin at the moment, as you can see, has gone past this yellow line. We've got this yellow resistance here that's been in play on Dogecoin for the past 2 weeks. If you watch my other videos, you know this, but basically we've just been following it as some sort of downtrend that kind of held the Dogecoin price in a downwards trend. And of course, this breakthrough here would have been a substantial event, but of course, cryptocurrency as a whole is a little bit off right now. Cryptocurrency as a whole is still suffering the effects from what FTX has done. Of course, we should have seen some more bullish action in this region here after that trendline break, but unfortunately, the whole cryptocurrency market is still in a massive state. So Dogecoin is no exception in this case. Of course, we did come up with a small little pump here through this trend line, a 5.5% pump, but of course price is down and is coming to test this yellow resistance once again as a support. So at the moment the price is still in a small range here on Dogecoin. It's really basically, we could say, is hovering between 8 cents and 9 cents on Dogecoin. It's kind of moving in what we could say is more of a sideways direction. And of course, if we have a look down here, you see the volume is a lot lower from when we saw the FTX fallout. Look at Dogecoin's, and if you have a look at the left here, you can see Dogecoin's volatility. There was large green and red candles in this area, lots and lots of volatilities as buyers and sellers were coming into the markets here on Dogecoin. And you can see that with the immense amount of volume. But of course, as time progressed after the FTX fallout, things have got quieter and quieter and calmer. And now Dogecoin is really just sitting in some sort of sideways motion. In fact, we can draw what Dogecoin appears to be consolidating in kind of like this, in my opinion. So, you know, on Dogecoin, we're still seeing, in my opinion, some sort of triangle that looks like this. And at any point, we can see a breakout of that triangle. So just put those there in orange so you can see it a bit better. And of course, if we do see a breakout to the upside, I would expect this price target to still be our price target. Of course, I do see there being some sort of resistance in this area. So if we do break out to the upside of this triangle, we might see some resistance in this region here on Dogecoin at 9.5 cents. But if we can clear that, that'll be pretty smooth sailing, in my opinion, to this 11 cents region. So this is, you know, just reading this triangle here and seeing if we get a breakout to the upside. And of course, if we do break down to the downside of this triangle, so that is another possibility here on Dogecoin, then we should see prices get to around the 7.2 cents region, which would obviously be very bearish. If we cannot hold that, then that would be, my next target would be around the 6 cents region, which would represent a full retracement of the pump here on Dogecoin. So really looking out for these levels, and looking at whether this triangle is in play or not. Of course, chart patterns are not perfect, so we could also see a scenario where the price does not respect the triangle and the subsequent breakouts. So of course, if it is respected, we see large increase in volume and we see a large amount of momentum pushing the price through either the support down here or the resistance up here. And so that is one of the things I'm looking for. And of course, for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you what Bitcoin is doing, because Bitcoin is the tune of the whole cryptocurrency market. And now more than ever, Dogecoin and Bitcoin are very highly correlated because they're both suffering the effects of this FTX fallout. And just to prove that, I'll bring up the correlation coefficient. You guys can see this for yourself. So what we have here is the correlation coefficient. And with the correlation coefficient, the higher the value of it is, the more Dogecoin is correlated with Bitcoin. Now the highest value is 1, and we say above a value of around 0.7 that there is a strong correlation between the two cryptos in question. So that's Dogecoin and Bitcoin. And at the moment, you can see over the past week, so since the FTX fallout, the correlation between Dogecoin and Bitcoin has been at around 0.9, a very strong correlation here. And of course, it wasn't always that way. As you know, Dogecoin did actually do this massive pump, and Bitcoin didn't do that same pump. So, you know, that was an instance where correlation wasn't quite there. And of course, it wasn't always like that. For instance, previous to this highly correlated area, we didn't see much correlation up until the FTX crash. When the value is below this halfway line, it means that there is an inverse correlation. So when one goes up, the other goes down. And of course, a value of 0 just means no correlation whatsoever. So from November the 9th, we saw the correlation managed to increase quite a lot between Dogecoin and Bitcoin, meaning that giving evidence to the fact that people who are holding cryptocurrencies, whichever cryptocurrency, whichever altcoin it is, and this gives evidence to the fact that FTX has had an impact on the whole cryptocurrency market. So altcoins are behaving in a similar way. We can see that on the side here as well. That most altcoins aren't really doing too much. You see Bitcoin is down 1% there, Ethereum down 2%, but single digit losses, 1%, 2%, Solana with an exception at 6% there. But generally speaking, the crypto markets aren't doing all too much. If we have a look at Bitcoin as well, we can see it's following some similar triangle here as it is with Dogecoin as well. And again, if we go into Ethereum, we can see the same sort of setup. We see some sort of triangle consolidation formation here. We can go on to BNB and similar story here. We just see another area of consolidation as people are anxiously waiting to see what happens, to cryptocurrencies as a result of this FTX fallout, increased regulation and increased attention by regulators and potential legislation against cryptocurrency. So I think everyone's a bit wary of that. And that is why the cryptocurrency markets aren't doing all too much right now. They really want a definitive answer as to what happened with FTX. So at the moment, for me, a lot of my time is being spent on what Bitcoin is doing, because of course, if Bitcoin makes a major move, it's going to have a massive impact on what Dogecoin is doing. So if Bitcoin makes a massive bullish move or a massive bearish move, or it starts a new bullish or bearish trend, then we're going to see that bias here on Dogecoin as well. So if Bitcoin pumps, then I do believe Dogecoin could also pump. It doesn't have to be entirely, I'm not saying it's going to follow Bitcoin up, but it's going to add a bullish bias to Dogecoin's price, and it's going to make it easier for Dogecoin to go in the upwards direction. And likewise, if Bitcoin takes a dump, then it's going to be a lot harder for Dogecoin to be bullish unless we get some sort of Elon Musk tweet or something, and we're going to see Dogecoin go in a downwards direction. So this is why it's important to check what Bitcoin is doing. And at the moment, I also see some sort of triangle formation on Bitcoin. Now, this triangle formation is a period here where Bitcoin is just consolidating. The volume's quite low. It's been on a decline since we saw massive volume around here, and the volatility is getting less and less and less. Now, of course, a triangle formation suggests that we should get a breakout at some point. Basically, it's saying that one of the two trend lines has to be respected. So we've got this support line down here, which connects the two bottoms on the Bitcoin price here, and we have a resistance that connects all these peaks here on the Bitcoin, price. And basically what happens is that when the price nears the apex of this triangle, one of them has to be respected. Is the price going to break through the resistance and respect the support, or is it going to do the opposite, respect the resistance and break below the support like this? Now, of course, the outcome of a triangle is a large movement in price, and so really we want to check what Bitcoin does when it gets close to these resistances. Do we see the breakout, or is it just bouncing off and coming back to test the support once again? So this is something I'm closely monitoring. Of course, if we see Bitcoin break above this resistance into the 17,000s and beyond, then I do think Dogecoin has a more brighter future, and we could see the price break above its own resistance line, this orange resistance that we have here on Dogecoin. But if Bitcoin continues to head lower, if we get Bitcoin going below the 16,000 mark and breaking below the support here, then Dogecoin is probably not only just going to break through this triangle, but it's going to get to the 7.2 cents mark. And if it doesn't hold, then I do think it's fully going to retrace back down to 6 cents. So that's my prediction here for Dogecoin. On top of everything as well, we want to look at what may influence Bitcoin and Bitcoin's future, and the stock market and Bitcoin have traditionally been quite correlated. At the moment, not so much because of FTX, but basically previously when the stock market made a move, we saw a similar move in Bitcoin as well. So at the moment on the stock market, we're looking a little bit patchy in this area here. We've seen this nice little rally here over the past few weeks on the stock market, kind of getting to this $400 region. And right now we could potentially be seeing some sort of head and shoulders pattern. Of course, a head and shoulders pattern is a trend reversal pattern. It's kind of like a topping pattern here on the S&P, and if it is respected, then we should see the prices tank on the S&P. And as you can see on the right here, we're seeing a pre-market value of 390. So that is literally where my cursor is right now. So we probably will see this head and shoulders play out. Now, of course, if the S&P continues in this downwards direction, then that's going to add a bearish bias, in my opinion, onto cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. And now the correlation's looser, so I don't expect Bitcoin to follow the S&P down like this, but it's going to add a bearish bias, and it's going to make it less probable that Bitcoin is going to go in this direction. It's going to be easier for Bitcoin to head in the downwards direction when the whole stock market is doing so than it is to go in an upwards direction. Of course, Bitcoin has its own events that influence its price that won't influence the stock market's price. So this is why I say this is, of course, Bitcoin has its own events that influences the price independent of stock market as well. So, you know, take this with a pinch of salt. But if the S&P does head down, then we should see Bitcoin continue to go down as well. And if Bitcoin goes down, then we're probably going to see that in Dogecoin as well. So that is my theory here on Dogecoin. Of course, I do think it's likely that we're probably going to head down to the 7.3 cents mark if the rest of the cryptocurrency market continues to tumble as it is. But at the same time, we're seeing some sort of triangle formation here, and if we do break through to the upside, that should be quite a nice target at around 10 cents, just between, that should be a nice price target of around 10.5 cents. I do think this level will be reached if we get to that price target from that triangle at 11 cents, but we should encounter some resistance on the way up, primarily in this region that I'm looking out for, this 9.5 cents, if we do break out of the triangle onto the upside like this, for example. So be interesting to see here what happens on Dogecoin. At the moment, we're very close to the bottom of this triangle, so if we do break through, then this is my price target here at 7.2 cents. So that is all I have to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know in the comments down below whether you're bullish or bearish on Dogecoin. But otherwise, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.